In the open mic, I was going to say the tallest black man in the room, but I think today you're the only black man in the room.
Oh!
Birdman!
It's been like that all day.
Well, it's soundbite. It's usually we get a few more, but yeah.
You know the status coming for you?
Yeah. Oh boy. This poem here is actually from my last poetry book, Words from the Heart. And it's a short poem, so she don't have to worry about hitting the symbols.
Okay.
Long introduction.
Yes, yes. And this one here is titled Wandering in the Darkness. As I wander down the lonely road, a misery is cold and deep. With no forgiveness in sight, the betrayal is steep. Slipping off into darkness, thinking of these things, the words feel so cold and dead. You live your life in chains, never knowing who has the key that can open the door that lets freedom reign. Souls are born and reborn, renewing connections throughout the ages. As the darkness turns to light, peace and harmony rages. The road that seems so hopelessness doesn't feel so lonely anymore. Birdman 313. Yeah!
Excuse me. Casey, Glen, Graypool.
That's all right.
Hello, everybody. All right. The first kind of poem song I'm going to read is called Adonis's Birth. All right. In-depth field transfigured, Cyrinus tree-bound, fact in sun arisen, past's couple laying duel between former tree and foreground unbloomed. Next to this too, wildlife lay amid verdure, at zenith centripetal, petrified form at birth, whereupon Zephyrus wafts Venus's perfumed buds, white blooms, unstained yet by Adonis, blood from myrrh split like lilac, stripped in nascence, beautiful. And that's the first one. This one has no name. It's just a song. Fall leaves fell like boats sway at night shade, when lanterns flash flare past, soft, bright, softly bright on aqua sheet lighting shine intermittently. In water, land leaves all, boats past, lights dark again, water still sway, then all stills, the leaves in black's death. Thank you.
All right, Liablewriter.
Yeah.
Thanks, folks.
Now, is that called a banjo?
It's a yucca banjo or banjo-lily.
Yeah. Best debate possible.
And Brian's heard this one before, so don't spoil it.
Oh.
It's concise, called Small Hand Man. Small Hand Man, how would you like it if I shook your hand so hard it made your metatarsals collide and grind together so forcefully enough that you needed a cast afterward? Would I be blamed, then shamed for my Nefertiti complex and toxic femininity? No, I forgot. Doing something like that would just make me the cuntiest bitch this side of the Atlantic. Brennan.
I'm going to read a very short piece from the festival project that I'm working on, and it's called Smoke Circle. A circle, sitting, passing directions early in the morning, pale light blooming, Jip Gunder, Harry Child, Miles Preliff, Mary Morza, and Daphne Blaine. 4 out of 7 lawn chairs, broken in some way, though still usable. Someone get Jip a sunflower seed. It looks like we've got ourselves a full-on paranoid, Miles says. The periwinkle see-through blue pipe glowing in the morning sunlight. All members of said circle forgetting who quite had it last, so they send it back on its orbit randomly. It isn't paranoia, it's fear, doubt, concern with the shape of things. Those are all different things, Jip responded. No, Harry adds, saying meaning that isn't there, connecting dots when there isn't even dots in the first place. Married to Daphne without context. Yeah, it was some sort of skeletal thing, but it was cool. Maybe in reference to some show they'd seen the previous day, maybe not. Damp air, slightly cold, but no shivering, not now, maybe earlier when Daphne first woke up at 4 a.m. With no sun or blanket to be seen, only predicated, a premonition of the crushing heat to come. Shakes are appreciated in this sort of environment. I was wanting to go to the cinema tent, said by either Miles or Mary. But the lines are so long, said by anyone other than Miles or Mary, really. Yeah, but I've never been. Daphne sucks in a big mother, a monster drag, the kind of drag that will wait around shifting in your lungs for days, especially if accompanied by cigarettes. All of their brains dead and partially awake, unmoving. We should get up, but what's there to see? Let's go somewhere and see what's happening. Did you know that half of people that go to the movies have no idea what they're seeing and they just wing it? That's inconceivable to me. Did you know that 75% of statistics are made up on the spot? Did you know that that's the most overused joke of all time? Yeah. Come on, guys, the superlatives, please. Yeah, superlatives are the worst. Come on, let's go somewhere and see what's happening. Let's get moving. It's so damn early, why? You can't sleep when the sun's out. You can't move when you're slightly buffed. You mean high? Everything you do immediately comes back to the self. Try not doing that sometimes. I can almost guarantee you will fail.
Beautiful.
Stephanie.
I'm currently doing some more writing. I'm writing about my experience being out at the VA. Whoa. So this is a little excerpt from what I have started. I have already gotten up to 50 pages and I don't know where it's going to end. I often share with Miss Ellington, I felt incomplete coming out as female. I often relate coming out at work at the VA would be something that would make me feel totally out as a female and be complete. We would talk about the real life test of living totally and completely female. At the end of my sessions, Ms. Ellington would relate to me that I am going about this the right way. To me, this was very important to hear. We often discuss WPATH's standards and how I am trying to follow those standards. Although there is no right or wrong way, each transgender's journey is different. Often we make time to have girl-to-girl talks. When we first began to have our girl-to-girl talks, I felt apprehensive because I felt the topics may be too personal. However, I wanted to discuss things of being female as I wanted to learn and everything there was. I did express that I felt being apprehensive about talking about things perhaps a little bit too personal. Ms. Ellington informed me not to be apprehensive of talking and expressing these matters, as it is a part of her responsibilities as a counselor. After hearing Ms. Ellington say this, I felt more at ease and felt that I could be open and honest. I continue to feel this way. I try very hard not to hide anything. We talk about makeup, types of panties, other topics. I'd often share that I visualized having a vagina between my legs. In early 2015, I began to read about a law being proposed to prevent transgender individuals from using the restroom. I discussed with Ms. Ellington my fears of being forced to use the men's restroom and feeling that I would feel unsafe. I discussed these matters were in the news regarding transgender individuals. I had several appointments up to that point. I felt and believed it was important to request a letter from her, which would be like a doctor's order and would also include and confirm the diagnosis that I am female. Ms. Ellington has said to me many times that she only sees me as female, and which I feel and continue to feel is tremendous. I cannot begin to describe and what I felt as I read. I am a psychotherapist working with Ms. Stephanie Johnson, who is a transgender female. As part of her therapy, I have prescribed for her not to use the ladies' room at any time. I have prescribed for her to use the ladies' room at any time she needs and to no longer use the men's room. I have a lot of emotion concerning this letter from Ms. Ellington. Receiving this letter from Ms. Ellington is a blessing and an honor. A few months after receiving this letter from Ms. Ellington, she said something to me that's very profound, in which I am very honored to have received such a compliment. As she said, "You are such a passionate person, so strong-willed and determined, and clear thinking. It is inspiring to watch you move through this and claim your incredible life." As I reflect back on this statement, I continue to feel very honored. And as I write this, I am very emotional, as this statement is very close to my heart. Now, I just read, and I just stated my name is, on the letter, Stephanie Johnson. And at the end of April or beginning of May, I will be going through the legal process. My new name will be Stephanie Elise Freno. So I am very close. At the end of February, I did have my fingerprints, so I'm at the very last stage of this.
Good.
Texwador.
So try to do it in 5. The first one's kind of heavy, a little longer. The second one's shorter and a little more lift. Hopefully it works out. Cocaine! We all know what it does to people. The violent crime by the hook, the conniving tendencies of those with the habit, and the normal occasional user that's just looking for a good time but doesn't want to hurt anyone. A few lines every once in a while couldn't be that bad, right? I mean, unless it's you're addicted or you're doing it to keep from feeling bad, it has to be harmless, right? I mean, ain't nothing wrong with a little cocaine, am I right? Well, no. It doesn't just appear out of nowhere. Let me tell you a story. In the early 1500s, a cargo ship on its way to Peru was packed with human beings who thought that they would be cursed into a lifetime of forced servitude, but found themselves escaping a shipwreck off the coast of what would become the border of Ecuador and Colombia. They swam to shore, established communities in rainforests, beaches, and mountains, and intermarried with the natives and later provided refuge for those who escaped slavery near and far. To this day, you go there, and in many towns there are no Hispanic or mixed-looking people, just dark black people, who find themselves historically exploited like black people everywhere on earth. But some, in addition, are literally poisoned every day through the profits of cocaine. I was blessed with the opportunity to work there during my time as a geographer in Ecuador for 2.5 years. My 3rd day there, I got in a small plane with the team to map in high resolution the last tropical rainforest that connects the Andes Mountains to the Pacific, an area filled with pristine waterfalls that glisten as a prism for sunlight, with an anarchist choir of endangered birds, each song stranger than the last, all strutting their outlandish feather outfits for a mate to earn that sex that everyone deserves. But then there are the practically extinct insect-dependent plants and flowers, each of which could be a cure for cancer. Their pollinators feeding the reptiles, amphibians, and mammals relying on wildlife corridors, ecological fauna highways, from the mountaintops to the mangrove wetlands, for which we had been contracted to make aerial photography. The Aguacachi Reserve is so important that the Ecuadorian government has deemed it illegal to enter without permission, and only under strict regulations to protect nature's fragility. But cocaine-funded paramilitaries had smuggled in bulldozers to make illegal gold mines, with lakes filled with neurotoxic mercury to separate the soil from that yellow metal that people like for some reason. Months later, after the monotony of Tetrising a puzzle of thousands of aerial photos, I returned to the area to collect GPS points to align our mosaic to the ground. After passing trucks full of diced trees to finally reach a more desolate clearing on a bridge, we waited for the geographical data to collect, and I couldn't help but notice a beautiful scene. A naked Afro-Ecuadorian family bathing in the creek. The chiseled father, whose machete and fishing nets are normally an extension of himself, was contentedly soaping his obsidian child, while others hop around chasing each other, splashing in the water. The potential beauty queen mother, whose figure was not fazed by the slightest in years of breastfeeding. They smiled and waved, I smiled and waved back, before turning away to respect their privacy, but wanting to stay for a minute to take it in, to take the moment in. Maybe they saw me and my coworker and envied our luxuries. Absolutely, I saw them and envied theirs. I didn't realize it at the time, but that same beautiful family that I waved to, who may have had distant West African descended relatives in this very room, we're having their brain cells deadened by the heavy metals dumped in that very creek, and in the clams they eat that will be filtering those heavy metals out of the river bottoms for decades to come, hundreds of years to come possibly. Maybe all made possible because of the money from cocaine. Maybe a better reason not to do this drug is its funding a civil war in Colombia, where villages are massacred, children are kidnapped into sexual slavery, child soldiers kill innocent people from the FARC, and family members of businesses are murdered one by one until extorted rent is paid. Or maybe a better reason is that thousands of unaccompanied minors escaping drug violence in Central America, the bodies dumped over borders for not complying with the demands of drug cartels, or communities crippled by brutally oppressive mafia power structure that couldn't exist without money coming from the north. Or maybe better reasons are the cartel wars just a few hours south of San Antonio, journalists tortured and killed for exposing the truth, or the intricately intertwined sexual slavery taking place in neighborhoods of every major city. There are endless reasons not to do cocaine, not to douse the dopamine in one's brain and the blood of all the innocent people killed along the way, and the screams of starving children locked in closets forced to please soulless men, or the gunshots of families prey will end. But for me, the biggest reason will always be that family that smiled and waved to me, sparkling in the tropical sun, enjoying a lazy Sunday in a creek contaminated by mercury. So the next time someone is giddy with misguided evil joy at the expense of others, they force to suffer, and offer you a bump, a line, or a sight, please have a heart.
Amen. Brian Grosz. Ding. That was not me. You look at me.
Light and dark. If you're lucky, you get to see them on the same date. If you work nights like me, it's fucking unlikely. Because a coin that is flipped rarely lands on its edge. We live in a binary world controlled by the machines that own us, yet we pretend to own them. Your iPod, laptop, cell phone, tablet, nothing but ones and zeros. Telling you to zig or zag. In 400 feet, make a right. Rerouting. You have arrived at your destination. Anyone with a modicum of programming experience will tell you, if X, then Y, else Z. If the milk is chunky, then throw it out. Else, enjoy your Fruit Loops. If punching a wall hurts, then stop. Else, seek a therapist. If a relationship is toxic, then leave. Else, enjoy the sex while it's happening, because it probably won't last. But it's not entirely black and white. The else gives us sepia, a twilight, and a sunrise. That didn't work? Give this a shot. And you try a new equation. The ability to zig and zag is what makes us skin sacks, both animal and human. On or off. Or on a dimmer switch. Because light to dark or dark to light requires an adjustment of the eyes and perception. Just don't forget that there's always an else. And you can't spell life without if.
All right. And our other New Yorker, Ellen.
Via, North Carolina.
Oh, me too. There you go.
Fort Greene.
Fort Greene. Yeah. I don't know if I read this one or not, but I'm going to read it anyway. It's called Hot Sexy Mama. I'm a hot sexy mama in my leather jacket and high black boots trimmed with white fur, walking down Main Street looking for trouble. I'm a hot sexy mama with a short hairdo dyed red especially for this occasion. Large golden hoop earrings, painted red lips, just hungry for some kissing. Wearing a low-cut blouse showing my perfect boobs, walking down Main Street looking for some fun. I'm a hot, sexy mama in skin-tight, ass-hugging jeans, trimmed with rhinestone hearts, 66 years old and thirsty for some action. I'm a hot, sexy mama with a big, bad red pocketbook slung over one shoulder, stuffed full with paper money and 2 get-out-of-jail-free cards, ready to leave this shitty old town, walking down Main Street, daring anyone to stop me. I'm a hot, sexy mama strutting down Main Street, thinking of my hidden tattoos, a red heart on each cheek of my sweet bottom, not covered by my black lace tongs, looking for my toy boy of 40 years. I'm a hot, sexy mama all dolled up, just the way my man likes it, walking towards him with swaying hips to the beat of the 50s, our kind of music, on a hot midnight date, a drink or 2 at a table overlooking our mountains, then off to bed for red-hot sex and a bowl of sweet vanilla ice cream, swimming in dark chocolate syrup, just the way we both like it. That's not the sex one. Like night and day, his hands roaming over my naked body in the dark, trying to comfort me so that I could sleep, but his magic wasn't working this time. Something was calling me, demanding my attention, kicking and screaming, throwing a tantrum like a small child in order to get her mother's attention, making me lose a few nights' sleep, small price to pay for not listening. Something was calling me, demanding my attention, beckoning me to follow, to leave my daily life behind for a while so that an exchange could happen. Trump, the fucking destroyer, is forcing change, a roller coaster ride. Barriers are coming down fast, no place to hide anymore. Silence isn't working, pretending isn't working. People are saying no more, I want this and not that. Trump is learning a hard lesson that even presidents don't get everything they want, a lesson that every child must learn. Like night and day, something was calling me, and I am going to follow. It's time for us to wake up to answer the call, the one that has been ringing for so very long, but so low only a few heard it. Time for us to say no and mean it. It's time for our hearts to guide us and for our minds to take a rest. It's time for us to decide the kind of world we want and then go about the business of creating it now. Time to say goodbye. Goodbyes tear me apart. My umbilical cord is so strong, making transitions painful, even though I am tired and need some time alone. Time to say goodbye, to close my winter blinds, blocking out my neighbors, locking me inside with only my insane thoughts for company. Time to dance with them, to do the 2-step together, to let them roam free, knowing they can't harm me. Time to say goodbye to my fears of death, of being apart from my loved ones near and far, finally really knowing that there's no such thing as separation. It's only made up. Time to say goodbye to strong and livid dreams, creating stress throughout my body, leaving me upon waking a war zone. Snuggling closer to my husband helps. His smells and soft, loving hands calling me home. Time to say goodbye to the day and hello tonight. So quiet, writing and meditation, my only company, making room for anything to happen. My to-do list doesn't exist here. Time to say goodbye to my feelings of unworthiness. Everything is fine. There is nothing I need to do. I don't have to prove anything. Life is mine. And so I say goodbye to my old patterns and assumptions and hello to all my new thoughts and beliefs. Of being, creating new adventures and new roads leading to new beginnings. Wine, dark chocolate, and much love. I am perfect just the way I am.
Yes, ma'am. David Lester Young.
Yay! Well,
All right.
Such dynamic people I see here.
Yes.
Talent and often is fantastic. You have one word called atmosphere. You have another, you have one word called atmosphere, another called atmosphere. Right here we have heartmosphere. This one is a zigzag poem where I actually take one poem into two. I don't know how it's going to work out. So I guess I get a zig and then I have a zag. One, I share two eyes. One mind with dual hemispheres. One heart with 4 chambers. One has 4 times 2 fingers. One has 1 times 2 thumbs. One has 5 times 2 toes. Do eyes do see as one. Duet ears combine stereo as one. Inside my eyes, inside my mind, left alone, right alongside, backward tail, forward trails. One steps with 2, right onto left, being coupled together, chain links, walking in time. I am one. Miracle that buds within blessing tales. Womb of time, whales bearing entranceway. Within the umbilical cord being cut gateway. Bearing birth beltway of unique independence among parental guided pathway dependence. Held in devoted love, we are swaddled as babes that soon learn to crawl in growing diaper shapes. Wherein standing up one sprouts upward to walk, to bud anew, branch voyages, poetry walkways. Poetry garden, branches verse, leaving pages of time that traverse life onto final death pathways, essential time. Miracle that buds within human sentences, rooted deep, laying within divine conception, poetry existence. Each one of us must blossom forth upon pure volition, our poetic course in this all-inclusive garden of love cognition. Miracle that buds within its composite makeup of inspiration. Stimulus reigns amid enlightened combustion. The miracle starts within you. Awaken in that first breath, wail. Throughout life one traverses trails and tribulation rock trails. One nails words amid pounding, resounding, questioning, fragment. Hail Marys, our fathers do rail. Adrift roller coaster faith. One kneels, blessing tales.
World poet.
Wow, because Pinterest doesn't talk to Twitter, Instagram's not having it on with Facebook anymore, and the corporations themselves have become one, while we are all divided into markets and demographics. So the clouds outside conspire like corporations. In this cat afternoon, we are sleeping shadows. Ezra Pound still loves T.S. Eliot. I hear the trickle of a plumber's mistake. Sorrow, what arrow pierced your desires? Anger, your danger is not transformed. Joy, your height is elevation. Envy, you compare yourself and find yourself wanting. Jealousy, love is not lost when its lead is gone. Kiss you tonight, horizon, sea, sand. To be is not all, to continue is courageous. Motel beds have histories and bedbugs. Being anonymous adds annoyance. Each day's casual list of strangers getting closer to our families. Tides reassure continuance, returning, receding airlines. Fast as FedEx, slow as UPS, I stay within my letterbox. Praise our post office. All those gods on the wide screen of Asgard, all those saints in Catholic heaven, here they are again, leaving. Most of us have most of what we need to get by. This is why we need your poems, your petitions and your songs. But if only the moon could hear them. If only the moon could read.
Trying to stop the timer right now. Can we talk about? I can't stop the timer. Anyway, there we go. Thank you all for coming out to I was going to say a satellite South by show, but it's not. We always are here the second Sunday of every month, so I'm very happy about that. And our next show in April, which will actually be part of the International Poetry Month, but festival as well. And I got lucky on that too, because again, the show always happens on the second Sunday of the month. The next theme is drugs and fantasies.